All right, welcome. Wherever you're joining me from, if it's live, type your name in and let me know that you're joining me live. And if it is from a recording, the replay, let me know that too. But either way, I am very glad that you're here, and I am excited to share the latest revelations in science. Can God accelerate hormone recovery weight loss? The answer is yes. And that in particular is your belief in a power greater than yourself, greater than your body, greater than your mind. Do we have any viewers yet? Just getting started? So I'm going to dive right in because I am super excited about today's topic. And if you are joining live, I have a couple special offers for you today. If you have not got the new ebook yet, you can definitely do that. And a special offer at the end to get our brand new 28-day hormone unlock weight loss solution. But this completely free, completely fun, and I'm excited to get it on. All right, I'm Coach Tom, most grateful man on the planet. I specialize in helping women get their hormones balanced again, unlocking the metabolic hormones so they can lose weight and feel like themselves again. And I am always researching and figuring out the litany of tools available and how we can accelerate this and how we can make it stick forever. So, advance warning. I am not here to tell you. I'm not here to answer this question. I am not here to tell you how to think of God, what God is to you, what God should be. Nothing of that nature, in fact. In fact, the very opposite of that. And if you were to ask me, Coach Tom, what do you think of God? I think God is. Not that it really matters, but if you were to ask me, I would say quite simply for me, God is get over defining it. Because I spent years and years and years in my researching brain trying to figure out how does it all work? What does this mean? Well, guess what? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I ever define it. I don't know that the human mind gets to define it. However, if you have a religious belief, such as Christianity, which I spent many years in Christianity, little known fact about Coach Tom, I lived at a Christian church for 6 months. Church every day, Bible every day. I know the Bible inside and out. I know the Quran. I know the Old Testament, the New Testament. I know the Tao Te Ching. I love ideas that connect people and that help us connect with a power greater than ourselves. And now, at this point in our evolution as humans, science is proving it more and more, and you can use it to your example, to your advantage. You can make it work for you. So whatever your definition of God is, you're right. Every religion's right. Every positive belief about this higher power is right. But how do we make it work for us? Whether you call it your spirituality, call it religion, maybe you call it awareness, maybe you call it connection, consciousness, universal energy. Here's an example, and this is my last week highlighting Hope because I love her journey. But next week we're going to start highlighting another person. Now, Hope's a great example because Hope had no religious belief, none whatsoever. Not any sort of spiritual for sureness either. However, Hope had to start believing something. Now, when Hope first started off, she was at 315 pounds and she was ready for change because nothing she tried worked. And she tried it all. Perhaps you can relate. Every diet, every weight loss plan, every type of workout, starving herself, eating 6 meals a day. She tried different medication and went to a whole bunch of different doctors. And if you've seen one of my later or previous lives, I went live with Hope and she talked about all of the hormonal changes that happen, and how she would talk to her doctor and say, I'm pretty sure it's my hormones. And the doctor would say, no, your hormones are fine. Your hormones are fine. Just eat less, exercise more. Or your blood work came back just great. Nothing to worry about. You just have to eat less and exercise more. If your hormones are out of balance, it doesn't matter how well you eat, how much you exercise, the body fat will not come off. And that's what Hope experienced. Now, Hope changed it around. She came to us in May, and she just started losing weight, all by changing her lifestyle, making lifestyle shifts. She didn't even work out first 3 months, but she did everything else right. Now, here's what we realized. With Hope, we reached a certain point, and the weight got stubborn, didn't want to come off. It was her beliefs, her emotional hormones, and the way her beliefs were impacting her emotional hormones, specifically cortisol and the other fight or flight hormones. This happens to so many women, and they know it's happening, but they don't realize what a big factor it is. We had to go to work, and we continue to work on Hope's beliefs. That's interesting because Hope is a belief. Anyway, as we did that, she's now down more than 80 pounds and has every sign of continuing to drop weight. Now, she may not be religious, but now she believes. She believes that what she thinks, what she feels, and what she believes in has an impact. And it does. So does yours. But before we get to God and how it impacts you and the science behind that, let's break down what's getting impacted. Genes, your DNA. Now, most of us, and I've heard this so often, think we're a victim of our genes. I have bad genes. It's in my genes. I blame it on my genes. It's because of my genes. My family, my whole family's been overweight. No wonder I'm overweight. It's in my genes. Only 5% of your DNA is permanent. Your gene expression changes throughout your life. I repeat, and this is based in science, only 5% of your DNA, your gene expression, is permanent. The other 95% changes on a day-to-day basis. Some changes last longer than others. This is called epigenetics. My friends, welcome to the wonderful world of God and epigenetics. They're connected. Epigenetics are happening all the time in your body. Gene expression turns off and on. If you are doing everything right and you're not losing weight and your hormones will not balance, your genes are working against you. Your epigenetic expression of your DNA is working against you. Now, this may seem like some high-tech woo-foo stuff. It's not. It is absolutely proven in science. I'm amazed how long it's keeping mainstream medical and mainstream behavior change. It's taking us a while to catch up. But I'm here to tell you, don't wait another day. Realize that the way you are living, thinking, feeling, and believing is impacting your genes moment to moment. So imagine the middle of your DNA is completely permanent, but the outside of your DNA, the 95% of it, is changing every day. And you get to decide how it changes. All right, what do these epigenetic changes, what do they impact? Your hormones. Yes, your genes impact your hormones. And don't worry, if you're hearing about the God part, your belief in God or power greater than yourself or a universal light that connects us all, or an energy. If you have that belief, it's impacting your DNA and your genes and your weight and your hormones and your life. Now, hormone regulation is impacted. Your weight is directly impacted by your genes. In fact, if you've been overweight for a long period of time, your epigenetic DNA expression is overweight. You've heard about the metabolic weight set point. It's in your DNA now. It's in your genes. Your genes are changing right now. If you are listening to these words and you believe them and you believe you have power over your genes, your DNA is changing. It changes on a moment to moment basis. It affects your weight. And I assume most people are here for weight, but it also affects addictive traits. It affects relationships, your ability to earn and keep money. This DNA expression is changing, and we are the architects of our own DNA. Only 5% of it's hardwired. The other 95% is totally up to us. So no more being a victim of our genes. We absolutely can control them. I know this not only from science, but from my own personal experience since 2020. Since delving into this and becoming so immersed in learning everything I could and making sure that what I learned was backed by science, my life has changed because my DNA has changed. My gene expressions changed. My hormones have changed. Your lifestyle affects your DNA, but what we want to get to is your beliefs and your attitude. Your beliefs about yourself and about the world around you impact your DNA. The attitude, which is a combination of what you're thinking and what you're feeling right now at this moment, determines your attitude. If you have a negative attitude all the time, it's going to have a negative impact on your genes. And by negative, I mean going towards the continuum towards anger, fear, depression, anxiety, resentment. Oh, there's a lot. So nothing's all the way good or bad, but there's a continuum. The attitudes we want and go towards, and the ones we don't want and try to avoid. So if I were to ask you to do something, where's your attitude at right now? Where was your attitude at an hour ago? How were you thinking and feeling? And were you blaming those thoughts and feelings on someone else, something else? I think Eleanor Roosevelt said it. No one can make us feel bad about ourselves without our permission. We control how we feel if we control how we think. And when we do that, it controls our DNA. Now, in case DNA is relatively new to you and genes are confusing you and you flunked out of biology in high school like I did, actually, biology was really hard for me, didn't flunk out of it. And so it was hard for me in high school. It was hard for me in college as well. Not sure why, but now I learned this stuff quickly. In any case, every cell in your body and everything in your body is made of cells. You have muscle cells, brain cells, skin tissue cells, fat cells, you have organ cells. Every cell has a different molecular makeup, but every single cell has a DNA strand. Every single cell. So the way your DNA is expressed goes to every cell in your body. That's why your cells are changing all the time. Think of your DNA as a blueprint. Your gene blue, your blue genes, your blueprint for your genes. Your genes are the blueprint for your DNA. They are telling your cells how to respond, how to act, how to be. And if you're overweight, right now your gene expression is telling your cells to be overweight. Listen to that again. If you're overweight, your gene expression is expressing an overweight body with overweight cells. You can change this. Your genes are in every cell. You can change the way your genes guide that cell. Hormones matter, genes matter, you matter. How does God get into this? First of all, in case you were hearing for the beginning, I am not going to tell you what God is. That's up to you. In fact, one thing that science has proven is you can think about God, but God does not exist in your thinking. God is a consciousness that's more of a feeling and an awareness of being than anything else. And this is important because this is where science and spirituality connect. The day has come where science and spirituality are crossing paths. They're merging. Consciousness, awareness of your authentic self, awareness that you're something more than just your mind and your physical body, that awareness alone broaches a topic called quantum physics or quantum mechanics, where what you think and feel alters your physical self. This is basically prayer. Prayer is quantum mechanics and quantum physics in action, but just thinking it does not do the trick. Keep in mind, your conscious mind is 5% of your brain activity. The other 95% is all done by your unconscious. What's going on behind the scenes, how you're breathing, your digestive organs, and how your cells change, how your DNA changes. Your hormones are all released by unconscious actions. But here's the thing. Science and spirituality are now merging. The ability to change your physiological makeup with your beliefs is absolutely true. And it happens at the DNA level. All right. Step number 1, get clear on what your thoughts are about God, yourself, and life. What you think, you can quote me on this. The most important words you will ever hear are the words you say to yourself. Words matter. Your unconscious mind operates in words and images, and you are perpetually feeding it a loop of words, and those are your thoughts. So get clear on what you're thinking about God, yourself, and life. Now, a lot of religions and a lot of people I've talked to feel like if they're bad, God's going to punish them. And if they're good, God will reward them. That means if they're bad, they can expect something bad to happen. Maybe you think that as well. It's an example of jack thinking. Don't let your thinking get jacked. Your thoughts matter, whether it's about God, your spouse, your job, your kids, your body, your life, whatever your thoughts are about, don't let them get jacked. Here's an easy way to let your thoughts get jacked. What does jack stand for? Judgmental. Judging yourself, judging the people around you, judging your situation. Analytical. Over analyzing what you can't control. If you have to make a decision, analyze the heck out of it, make a decision and take action. But over analyzing what you've already made a decision on or what you can't control anyway, just jacks your thoughts. And it's anxiety, stress, fear, worry, doubt. Those are not how we want our genes to show up. Crucifying, comparing, saying, I messed up, I am bad, I deserve to suffer. Crucifying yourself for not sticking to the plan and eating those 5 slices of pizza. Crucifying others because they're not doing it the way you think they should do it. And comparing yourself to that person or that person. Or believing that something bad is going to happen to you because you did something bad or you're a bad person. Crucifying thoughts do not help your gene expression. It's science. So if you believe bad things are going to happen to you, I have a little secret. They are. Because you're programming your DNA and you're programming your unconscious mind. It's all about your programs. Your programs are running your life, and that's the 95% of the brain we're talking about. Here's some examples of programs. Why are women more sensitive than men? If you're a guy watching this, welcome. You've probably heard, why don't you talk to me about your feelings more? Why aren't you in touch with your feelings? Why do you have such low emotional intelligence, or in a meaner way, why are you an emotional idiot? You know, you don't understand me, you don't care. But yet women, they are in touch with their feelings. Is it because we have different, is it the chromosome difference? No. Science has shown that from an early age, when we first go to school as guys, we are being groomed in the school system and by society to show up as soldiers someday. To not let our feelings affect us, to not give them much value, because you can't go out to war and kill other people if you're in touch with your feelings. It's a program. It's a gender biased program. This is just one example of programs that society teaches us that we're not even aware of. And some of our programs come from our environment and our school. Some of our programs come from ourselves. Why do we self-sabotage our own success? Why do you lose a bunch of weight and gain it all back? Why do you do something that's working and suddenly stop? How many times have you sat back and said, oh, why did I do that again? Those are unconscious programs that are running in the background that try to get you back to feeling safe, get you back to feeling comfortable. Now, here's the kicker. You don't get to control all your programs at first, especially before 3. Before age 3, all of your programs come from your parents or whatever adults are around. You are not consciously able to differentiate between right or wrong. We're being programmed by age 3 by our parents and the adults around us. It's the way we're wired. As a kid, as a little 3-year-old, you do not get to choose if you're going to be that way or this way. All you can take in before age 3 is the input and programming you're getting from your parents and the adults that are around you. Before age 7, you get even more programs. You're more conscious, but now you're very impressionable by authority figures, by rules, by the adults around you. So if you grew up in a childhood where the adults around you were maybe not giving you the best examples, the best programs, and you said, I'll never be like that, consciously, you made that decision, but unconsciously, those programs were laid down and repeated, reinforced, and they became your programs. That's why we will sometimes repeat the same behaviors we hated about our parents. We catch ourselves doing it now. It's an unconscious program, and it exists in our genes and our DNA, and of course, our neuroscience, our neurobiology. All right. Every human being has something called the biological imperative, and there's 2 parts to it. We are hardwired to survive as an individual, and we are hardwired in our DNA. This is in the solid, never dying part of our DNA. We don't want to die as an individual, and we don't want the species to die. So it's hardwired in our genes. We can't change this. Not to want to die. Pretty sure there's a better way I can say that. To stay alive and to keep the species alive. So that is already hardwired in the DNA. We cannot change that. I mean, some people override it, but that is the biological imperative. Every living creature has it. Do whatever it takes to survive, and secondary, do whatever it takes to keep your species surviving. That's why there's so many programs we have that don't want to be rejected. They don't want to be rejected from our clan, our family, our group, because that means we're in danger of dying. Because of evolution, our ancestors, they had to stay part of the clan in order to survive. Anyone alone would die. That's changed, but our DNA hasn't. And us, we want to stay safe. That's why our body puts on fat to keep us safe. That's why we go into fight or flight all the time to keep us safe. It's not really keeping us safe. And sometimes we respond to dangers that aren't even there because of the biological imperative. All right, more programs. Here's a good one. Why do you think you crave sweets and carbs all the time? Because I have no willpower, because I'm weak. because I know they're bad for me because they taste so good. Every human alive has a biological craving for sweets. We are born with it. We are born with it because our ancestors, to stay alive, the higher the calorie count of the food they ate, the longer it lasted, the more energy it gave them. So we, especially in any fight or flight situation, want the sugary foods, the high calorie foods, the quick and easy tasty carbs, because we feel on a very, very internal level from that biological program that that's going to keep us alive longer. So, question you have to ask yourself is, what programs are you really running? You have a goal, you have an intention. Maybe your goal is to lose 50 pounds. Maybe your goal is to have a loving, successful relationship. Maybe you have a goal to have lots of money in the bank. Whatever your goal is, whatever your intention is, if you have not achieved it, it is most likely because your programs and your genes are working against you. If you are still overweight and you've wanted to lose weight for the last 10 or 20 years, your genes are working against you. Epigenetics is not working in your favor, and you're the only one that can do something about it. What programs are you really running? And what are programs? Programs are your beliefs. It's what you believe more than anything else. You believe it so much, you don't even question it. Your programs are your beliefs, your stories, and they exist in your neurobiology. They're hardwired in your brain. They're wired in your unconscious and conscious mind. And the more you believe it, the more you think about it, the more you act on it, the more hardwired it gets believed. When you believe something and you feel something about that belief and you think something about that belief, it affects your genes. It affects your hormones. It affects your life. Your beliefs impact your DNA. Your beliefs about yourself, about life, about your higher power impact the way your gene expression occurs. There's a direct correlation. This is science speaking to you. In fact, I've included many of the links where I did the research. This is widely accepted science now. Epigenetics is absolutely real, and our beliefs impact our genes. You know this now. It's up to us to do something about it. Change your beliefs, you change your programs. And you change your programs, you change your genes. Your beliefs and attitudes impact your genes, impact your hormones, impact your weight, impact the way you show up in the world. What can you do? Step one, got to become aware of your beliefs. What are they? Step two, get real. You got to tap into your authentic self, your authentic power, your authentic programs. We were all born happy. Think about it. When you were a baby, you never overate, ever. When you were in the womb, you took exactly what you needed in utero. I know it seems silly, or it might seem obvious, but we developed the program to overeat because maybe as a kid, you didn't have enough food growing up, or you had to hurry and eat, or you weren't allowed certain foods. So when you get older, you have this scarcity feeling and you go towards those foods. It's not an authentic program. Your authentic programs are in there. They're always in there. They show up as your intuition. They show up as what you really desire in the world. They show up in the feeling of love, connection, light, and that is your higher self. But are those true authentic beliefs get covered up? Like, your authentic self is not overweight, because overweight is unhealthy. It's hard on your body. Your authentic self does not have the extra body fat. Your authentic self does not have hormones that are working against you. Your authentic self doesn't have genes showing up, telling you to feel bad, to have too much body fat, and to self-sabotage whenever things go well. But getting authentic, that is the key. How do you do that? You realize that your unconscious mind is always in the present moment. Your unconscious only deals with right now. What's happening right now, becoming aware of now, accepting what's happening, being grateful for it, aligning with right now. It's your conscious mind that's thinking about the future and the past. It's either dreading or looking forward to the future or thinking about and regretting the past. You do that with a 5% of your conscious thinking. Your unconscious is where you connect with your higher power. God is energy. However you define God, science has proven there's an energy component to spirituality. In fact, I have a quote here. Everything we're experiencing is a result of consciousness and spirituality. That is from quantum physicist Niels Bohr, and it's being proven again and again. It's our belief in a power greater than ourselves and our consciousness at the same time that impacts our energy. Your vibe. Do you have a good vibe or a bad vibe? It's your energy. And when you decide that this higher power is working in your favor, working with you, it does. So be aware. What are you thinking right now? What are you feeling? What are you doing? What are you accepting? What are you learning? What are you sharing? This is all part of now being. And guess what? If you consciously become aware and connect your conscious and unconscious together, it happens faster. In the simplest terms, believe what you want to be true and believe that a higher power is part of you. If you can have this belief that there is a universal power, call it God, call it the universe, call it the tree, call it whatever you like, because it's more than a word. It's a belief in an energy, and you believe you're part of that energy. You are tapping into another energy source, another authentic power that we pretend is just there. Talking about believing in God is way different than actually feeling that belief and believing that power is working in your favor. Now, this is an authentic energy we all have access to. But it's our own thinking and our programs of the past that get in the way. All right. If there's any questions, I know this was a lot, and this is probably controversial, and I have been passionate about this for years. However, now that science completely backs it up, I want to help people tap into their spiritual energy to help them with their goals. And goal number 1 is get healthy. Next week, we're going to talk about Leilani. In fact, she's coming on live. She is someone who has lost weight. She was doing everything right, but the weight was not coming off because she was always in a fight or flight mode. And she has a very powerful spiritual belief that she uses to help her lose the weight. And she taps into it intentionally. She can do it. You can do it. We all have access to this authentic power. We just have to decide to make it our own. All right. That's all I have. I'll wait a little bit for questions. And if you have not got my latest ebook, boom, you can get that right here. You're like, where? Right here. You can just scan that QR code. It'll take you right to the link and get the free ebook. And I will leave that on a bit. No questions are coming up. If any do, I'll be happy to answer them. Jocelyn, thanks for joining us. Zara, thanks for joining us. Yeah, this is a touchy topic. We don't have as many viewers today as usual, and I knew that was a possibility. But the more of us that become aware of it and tap into it, the better our own health gets and the world around us gets. Last time, best time. I'm Coach Tom, most grateful man on the planet, and I'm grateful if you watch this live or if you watch the replay, and even more grateful if you become aware of what you believe and use those beliefs to help make your goals, your health, the life you want come true. I'll catch you in the next one, and thank you all for your attention.